I don't know if this is stereotype, but it's really weird that I usually get emails from, my name is Alberto Gonzalez, and I usually get a bunch of emails from maintenance. The emails usually say that I need to fix a leak in the roof, the grass that's not being cut correctly. I already sent numerous emails saying that they have the wrong person, I'm a student, and the emails just keep coming to me, which is really weird. And I've been kind of like rude about it, I've been funny about it, but I mean, they don't seem to stop. Yeah, they think I'm a worker here, not a student.
My name is Shelby Caro, and I am a second-year communications major, and I'm from Lake Tahoe.
Hi, I'm Chaim Hillel. I'm a rabbi in San Luis Obispo now, mostly for students at Cal Poly.
Hello.
All right, my name is Karan. I'm from India, but I grew up in Dubai for 17 years, and I moved here for college 4 years ago.
I was over at my friend's house. We were washing his car, and this gentleman approached us, and he had a dog. And then he told us that he feels like his dog was, abused because every time he sees a Mexican, he gets scared. And then when he saw my friend, he told us and it doesn't help that you guys are always holding like rakes, or brushes, or shovels.
I was in San Luis at the grad. It was football. I know a bunch of people from Chicago, and we met another couple from Chicago. We were talking, and they were introducing each other and saying, "Oh, I'm from here, I'm from this part." When they got to me, they introduced me and said, "Well, this guy's from Pismo Beach." Well, the girlfriend of the guy we were talking to, she laughed and said, "Oh yeah, and I'm from Compton." And I think she actually thought that we were joking when we said where I'm from. She kind of assumed that I couldn't be from where I grew up from. It was just kind of a shocking thing for me.
As a religious Jewish person, not just as a Jew, but also as a religious Jewish person, I recall visiting somebody once, and without even, thinking, he told me, "So I guess you're going to Jew me down."
And they don't ask me. They might try to Jew me down on a price. That's fine. You know what? That's free market as well.
Jews are stereotyped for bargaining, so Jew me down became a phrase that means to bargain.
Even my best friend tells me that. Even my best friend who knows all of my sorority sisters still says, you're paying for your friends, and I try to rationalize it, and he doesn't get it.
There's also really negative light, or a connotation being placed with theater majors that we are stupid and dumb, and our major is unimportant, and we couldn't go to a real school, so we chose theater.
People just see long hair and basically see what's on the surface and just assume that I'm just a lazy, kind of non-committal person who's not driven or anything like that. And then they meet me, and then they realize that there's more depth than what you just see on the surface when you look at someone for 5 seconds and say that guy's a dirty hippie.
So I walk around barefoot. I have lots of tattoos. I have short colored hair. And when I go into stores, people follow me around like I'm gonna steal things. Old ladies give me looks. I've had people think I was homeless. I've had evangelical Christians try to come save me as I'm walking down the street.
I think they do stereotype. They do. Everyone judges. So when they were the first, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what people think of me when they first see me. I'm pretty sure they perceive that. Oh yeah, he's brown, or he's probably from India, or he's probably from the Middle East.
Yeah, sometimes people are like, "Oh yeah, you're just yeah, definitely." People are like, "Oh, blonde moment," or like, "Oh, Shelby, shut up, you're just a cute sorority girl, you don't know what you're talking about," or like, "Oh, aren't you gonna go party tonight because it's Friday? Isn't that what all you sorority girls do?"
There's another time I was at the USC Cal game this past November, and my friend, he hosts alumni pie donors for USC. And he invited us to the thing, and we were there, and this lady comes up to our table, starts talking to me and my friend, and she mentions, "Oh yeah, and I think you guys will really like the fried chicken," and looks at me, and we thought it's just one of those funny things where she didn't realize what she's saying, so we laughed it off. She comes up and she makes another comment about watermelon, and then we kind of look at each other and whoa, what's that about? Well, when we're walking out, they hand us our tickets. She was at the door, and she said bye to my friend. "Oh yeah, you guys have a good time." When I actually said something to her, she looked me right in the face and turned her back on me to let me know that she did not want to talk to me. So it was just one of those things where she was using stereotypes just to get at me.
I actually applied for a job, so I was delivering supplies. You know, of course, if you're gonna drive a truck, you have to have like a valid driver's license and insurance, like if you know, and a clear record. So when I went to a dealership in Slow County, the manager came out to me and he told me, "Do you have a license? Are you legal here?" He just said that to me like straight out.
In San Luis Obispo. I've been here 5 years now, and I can say that I have never encountered any type of stereotype in my face, blatant. What I find is usually the Jewish people are more into the stereotyping within the religion. In other words, saying, "Oh, you're religious, so therefore A, B, C, whatever it is." But as far as the non-Jewish people, I found that mostly they're interested in seeing the difference and what we're doing, and they're amazed by it.
Really unkempt, unwashed, very antisocial, nerdy, and then the other side would be very unkempt, but very sort of hippie, out there, eccentric, kind of crazy. Wow, shocking. You're a computer science major? Wow.
Me, myself, I don't know, but I think other people would look at me as like barefoot, colored hair, tattooed, like long skirt wearing. I think people would say like hippie or stoner, or like, I think people call me punk. I'm not even kind of punk.
And it's had an effect on my life because it affects the way I think people are thinking of me. I'm aware of that much more. You know, every single time somebody makes a facial, you know, change or a little suggestion, the first thing that I usually want to pop up is, was that based on my race, or were they stereotyping me in some way?
Well, see, my brother has a little business that I help him out in construction. So he does concrete, and a lot of the houses we go are, you know, honestly Caucasian houses. So when they see me, like, you know, with working boots, dirty and stuff like that, and I tell them, you know, I'm gonna be a psychologist, they seem like very surprised. They seem more interested in me, and I've tried having conversations with people where I don't tell them what I do, and they're really not that talkative, and they don't really engage me a lot.
I grew up wearing a yarmulke. You know, I'm part of a Hasidic movement that everybody wears beards, and it's almost like I don't think about it. If somebody points it out, then I'll realize, oh, that's right. You know, I almost forget that I'm wearing a yarmulke. It's there. It's so much part of me that I don't even feel it. But what it actually does is that when I'm in an environment where other people are not wearing a yarmulke, it makes me more aware of you know, people are looking at me, and you know, people are making judgments about me. So I try to, you know, act in a way that the judgments will be good, positive judgments.
I like to think so. I like to think that I don't fit the typical stereotype for a sorority girl. First of all, because my sorority that I'm in isn't super stereotypical, but I also like to think that I prove people wrong. Like some of my friends, when they first met me, they were like, oh, when I first met you, I thought that you were just kind of this like airheaded, like pretty sorority girl, and I like don't think that anymore. And so I like to think that when people get to know me, they realize that those stereotypes don't really apply. At least I hope so.
Oh, I think people underestimate me greatly. Like, I've had group members on projects just basically tell me like, oh, I'm gonna do this part, I'm just gonna do this section, and they like don't want me to do things because they think I'm stupid. Or I've had people like just give me this look, like when I get a good grade, like, because I'm not a stupid person, so I've gotten grades back on tests, and people around me are like, oh wow, like you did a lot better than I thought. And like I've had people who I become friends with later say to me like, no offense, but like you're a lot smarter than I thought you were, which is.
I think so. I think you can say that I feel like I'm an ambassador for Hasidic Jews, and you know, people are judging me by what I do. They're going to say now, oh, so all Hasidic Jews do that way, and vice versa. Like people say, you know, I have a Hasidic Jew that once did this and this, so you're, and you know.
I think it has affected me in positive or negative ways. The negative ways, it made me a little bit stronger, I can say. And now that I'm in school, I feel like I have the skills to stand up for myself. You know, I'm getting an education, so I'm doing something for myself, and it made me more resilient and strong.
Oh, well, yeah, it's just not even with racial issues and other things. I can tolerate things much more because otherwise, you know, I'd have to understand where people are coming from. So I do that with everything, you know. So any issue that comes up, I can, you know, pretty much take it in stride.
And I was really surprised, and I told him, well, not all Mexicans do that. I mean, my friend is an architect, which he is, and I told him I was a psychologist, even though I'm not, but I just wanted to make a point. And he kind of got all red, and he kind of like seemed a little bit apologetic, but just the fact that he kind of like stereotyped the whole Mexicans as having like demeanor jobs was really funny to me.
Just because they don't have much experience with people like me. Maybe they're from areas where they only associate with people like them. And so when you have those situations, what do you have to work off of? You have stereotypes. And so they don't know if they're true, but they assume they are, and that's what they work off of. So, yeah.
Right. And I mean, the most interesting thing is that, everybody's human. Nobody's perfect. And unfortunately, there are religious Jews who perhaps even, wear more traditional clothing than I wear. They're wearing their white shirt with a tzitzit over their shirt, and they have the side locks. And statistically, there's going to be people that are not honest, and statistically, there are going to be people that are not honest in their business deals, who are, these things happen. It's everybody's human at the end of the day. But because they're religious, so they're expected to live by a higher standard, and when they mess up, all of a sudden it becomes this blanket thing for all religious Jews. So look at you religious Jews, you guys are not honest. Because really there shouldn't be expected more of them than anybody else. We're all humans, we're all trying to be perfect, but we're trying to make ourselves better. But it's like, yeah, you find that a lot. But, when I was younger, I was probably more aware of it or more subconscious of it, and would try to act certain ways to break that stereotype. But as I get older, I feel like this is who I am. I'm proud of who I am, and I try to, live my life in a way that, show them that the stereotype is either not true, or if it's true, it's a positive stereotype and not a negative one.
Yeah, it makes you more aware, because once you actually go through stuff, you can understand what people are going through. So, understanding that people are different. Maybe your situation wasn't stereotypical of where you came from, so you can understand that things just happen to people and you don't blanket judge people. I think it helps in that way.
Growing with Dubai, I've definitely seen a lot of kids, that I used to play with and stuff in Dubai, my close friends. I just pretty much know who's what, what the stereotype is, because, Dubai, everyone was an expat, and everyone came from the countries where they belong from. But when I see someone, when I meet someone from, from wherever they are, I can exactly say, okay, this person this place, but they're not exact stereotype. They're more of this, they're just individuals, the unique individuals.
I just don't let it bother me, because if I were to get upset, then I'm gonna act differently than I usually do. So it's one of those things where I just realize, okay, I'm a Central Coast native, so I'm gonna act like that, and regardless of how they perceive me, eventually they'll get it. So, I just act normal.
I think, unfortunately, I do stereotype. It's part of, as humans, we make judgment calls based on what we first see in a person, and that's called stereotyping. So, I try to, even though I make a judgment, which is, I'm trying to help myself not make those judgments, but I try to always leave my mind, leave it open, and not make decisions based on a stereotype, especially as someone who is on the other end, of the receiving end of it. And I know I don't want people to look at me and say, oh, because I see you dressed this way, so so I try. It's difficult, but it's it's something you got to work on all the time.
Well, my hat brim might be one a little too low. You're too slow. What the fuck do you really think you know? I do so, and every rhyme I spit is just so crucial. Like